There we go. All right. I think we are good to go. Hey everyone, welcome to the
Hi,
show.
everybody.
Welcome to the show in where we talk about mostly magic stuff and then things that we want to talk about past that. I'm Adam. With me this week again is it? Did I say I'm Adam?
You did.
Well, I'm
Uh,
Matt.
hey, everybody. Dish here. Welcome to the channel. Uh, Click that subscribe button, ring the bell. Kofi,
Kofi.
$3. We'd
Kofi.
appreciate it. Trying to get a Commander video together.
Make the Kofi thing happen. All right. Well, I'm
So, Adam, thanks for joining me this week. So, what have you been up to? What's going on in your life?
pleasure to be here. Actually, I finished up Arkham Asylum. Arkham Asylum was great. And I tried to start Arkham City on my computer, and it froze before the first battle. Can't figure out what's up. Still looking through things. Apparently, I'm missing some sort of plugin.
No, that's no good.
Yeah.
My big news is I got a new chair.
All right.
Yeah, I ordered it 20 days ago. I ordered it on October 2nd. It was supposed to be 4 to 14 days shipping.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yesterday, I was walking out the door about 11:30 and looked at my phone, and I had a message from UPS saying that my package was delivered an hour prior at 10:33 a.m. Well, I had been home all morning, and there was no UPS truck that I saw. The notification said it was at the rear door, so I went. I looked behind the house. There wasn't anything there. I looked behind my neighbors' houses. There wasn't anything there. And ended up calling UPS. Now, it's entirely possible that it could have been dropped off at 10:30 behind my house with my car in the driveway, and somebody came and stole a 50-pound large box, and I missed
Possible.
everything. It's possible. It's not outside the realm.
Yeah.
But I didn't think that's what happened. So I called UPS, spent about 5 minutes trying to convince the computer that I had my tracking number, and finally talked to a perfectly nice gentleman who told me he would pass along my information to somebody who could actually help me, and they would call me back in the next 2.5 hours or so. Which meant that phone call was a waste of time, pretty much.
No, of course.
Yeah. So I decide they probably delivered at the wrong address. So there's some streets with very similar names to mine. I decided to go and check out the same address number on those different streets to see if maybe they just misread the packing slip. And then my car wouldn't start. So get my car on the charger. While it's charging, the UPS truck shows up, and the box had been opened. Stuff was kind of poking out of the side of it where there were holes and tears in the cardboard. And pretty much nobody said anything.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, it turned out the chair is fine. So that's a good thing. It's a lot more comfortable than the chair that was literally going to be thrown away by my workplace. They were going to toss it in the dumpster, and I tossed it in the back of my car instead.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, so this is, I highly recommend if you're using garbage chairs to invest in a decent chair.
Yeah. It's very interesting because I got my chair not that long ago, and before that I was like using mostly like folding chairs, and just like waiting till they destroyed under the mass of my bulk, and then just getting a new one. This chair's great. I love this chair. It's worth upgrading. It's your back will thank you for it in the long run. Oh man! All right, you ready to get on with the topics for this week?
I suppose so.
Okay, I think we're starting off with yours.
Yeah, so starting off not with a magic topic, but we are keeping it in the family because we're talking about Hasbro. So word is now this was reported that it was probably going to happen over the summer, in June or July. But it's kind of making the circuits again, so I thought I'd bring it up, especially because there's some other news that goes with it. And it looks like Hasbro is going to be breaking up with Toei. So, Dish, are you familiar? Or no, wait, you're Adam. I forgot the bit.
No.
Adam, are you familiar with the Power Rangers?
No, let's stop the bit. But I am familiar with the Power Rangers. Yes, you could say that.
All right. I think we're both of an age where it came out and kind of replaced Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, I would say.
Like, I feel like Ninja Turtles kind of, I can remember being a very small child. Ninja Turtles were the thing. And then I can remember watching the first episode of Power Rangers.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I never got super into it, but it was everywhere after that.
I was very into it. Power Rangers pretty much supplanted all action stuff for me, with probably the exception of the X-Men cartoon. I was really, really into the original Power Rangers and
The Mighty Morphin.
the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, as they were. And when I was in college, I noticed all that stuff was on Netflix, and I tried to watch through every Power Ranger series. I did not make it. I didn't even come close.
Chris Sims, who does a bunch of podcasts, writes comics. He's seems like a cool guy, at least from the one-sided conversations I have with him on a weekly basis, where I'm talking at my car radio.
Right.
He actually did a full Power Rangers dive, starting with Mighty Morphin. I don't know where he ended. I don't think he's kept it up.
I got to Turbo, and Turbo
was right.
It that doesn't sound very far. We're talking 200 episodes in. Like,
I don't feel like it was 200 episodes.
It was, because I watched him. But Turbo was so frightfully dull that, like, it wasn't.
But there was a kid.
Yeah.
There was a kid that was a Power Ranger.
Yeah, he was dull. The whole. Oh, man. It did not. Turbo was not catching me, and so I couldn't go past that.
Did you watch the 2017 movie?
The remake, the reboot. I did not. I really wanted to, and I didn't.
You should.
There's another.
I don't want to say it's great, but
there's another movie.
It's a lot of fun.
There's another movie very similar to that came out a couple years prior that I really wanted to see that I didn't. It was just like teens randomly got superpowers out of nowhere.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I really wanted to see that movie, and I didn't.
What was that movie's name?
It's hard, right?
Do we have any viewers?
No.
Oh.
No one's watching to help us out.
Did Max Landis do it?
I think so. Yeah. I can't remember, but I remember it like it had a similar like visual style, and like to me it looked like it was going to be like what the Power Rangers movie was going to be, except with a darker spin on it, you know? Like one of the kids just ends up getting too powerful, and they basically do an Akira, you know?
You were talking about Chronicle.
Yeah, I think I'm talking about Chronicle. Yeah.
It was completely different, and that was by Josh Trank. Screenplay was Max Landis, and then Trank also worked on the story.
I got you.
It was not Power Rangers-y at all, but it was very good. I really liked it. It's kind of found footage-y in a lot of places, if I remember correctly. But that was 2012.
Yeah.
So 5 years before Power Rangers.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But anyway, sounds like Hasbro which Hasbro owns Power Rangers now. They've owned Power Rangers since 2017. They got that, and I think a bunch of other Saban properties.
Okay. And
And go ahead.
no, go ahead, finish.
They are set to start a new film and television universe. Um,
Really?
yeah, that it sounds like it's just starting from scratch, throwing everything out. Then the movie is supposed to, from what I've seen, is taking place in the '90s, but it's not going to be Jason and Billy and
Right.
everybody, or new versions of them like we had in the 2017
Uh-huh.
movie. It sounds like it's just going to be a completely relaunched thing. And I kind of don't know how to feel about this. I mean, Power Rangers lasted. What is it? It's Dino something.
Dino Thunder? That was one of them.
No, the next one, the 2021.
Oh yeah, yeah. The newest one. Yeah.
There was Dino Thunder, Dino Force, and
I saw a toy for it the other day, but it's yeah.
it is using the Toei. So if anybody isn't familiar, Power Rangers was brilliant. Which, here's a fun fact for you: Stan Lee tried to make Power Rangers a decade before Power Rangers. He basically was in Japan and he saw. It may have been during the Spider-Man time when he was over there making deals to have Spider-Man in Japanese television.
Yeah.
But he saw the Super Sentai shows, and it was basically he came back and was like, "Yeah, why don't we just buy this? We do new voices, or we film framing segments," and nobody bought it.
Mm-hmm.
It just fizzled until years later when we finally got Mighty Morphin.
So you're saying that the notion of the new series will be, since it won't be with Toei, it won't be using recycled animation from the Sentai series, or recycled footage rather, but instead,
Well, and animation, like for the
yeah,
the Zords
right,
and whatnot.
right. So it'll be Hasbro's new, just a property that they are running the whole thing. They're going to be doing all the action sequences and all that stuff.
It sounds like it. E1 or Eoni, I have no idea how to say it, which is a subsidiary of Hasbro. They do Peppa Pig and PJ Masks. There's other stuff that they've done on the distribution side.
Yeah.
But they are the ones who have kind of been handed the new movie. What's his name? Jonathan Entwistle is set to direct, I believe, the new movie, which I've not seen his stuff. He did, I think it was called End of the World, which was on Netflix. No, that wasn't it.
He did a thing on Netflix.
I Am Not Okay With This was on Netflix. But he also did the End of the Effing World.
Gotcha. Okay.
Which that was on Netflix. Maybe I'm Not Okay With This. Was that a Prime thing? That was this year. I don't know. Not important.
Yeah.
But he's done a few things. And I feel like Power Rangers, in a way, has run its course.
Mm-hmm.
And it might be time to give it a break. But I also don't know if it continues to do amazingly well. I know for a while it kind of trailed off. Disney didn't really know what to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
Nickelodeon, it's on Nickelodeon now. They're the channel that has it. And I don't really know if they should just let it sit for a while.
I mean,
or go ahead.
It's possible. I don't know. I could maybe get excited about a new version of Power Rangers that isn't using recycled footage if they put a lot of effort into the action and the things. Because one of the things that was always kind of awkward about the uh, the Sentai footage thing, which we never thought about being young, but like the fact that we have all these uh, different looking kids with different builds and different heights, and somehow they all ended up being, like the same size after morphing, but it's, if they decided to do it and they did it right, like they went
Interrupting
through.
you real quick though, Turbo explicitly made it clear that, hey, it doesn't matter if you're a little kid, you're just going to stretch out into
Yeah.
Power Ranger form.
Hey man, like,
So that made it okay. That made it okay.
That made it okay. You picked the wrong series to stand on that one. Turbo's not the one I'd be using for my canonical insights. Although, like, it's whatever. I really liked the toy from Turbo growing up. But yeah,
In a car.
yeah, it was pretty sweet. It was pretty sweet. It was a nice car, and it turned into the weapons, and that was neat. But yeah, I think the product that they put out could be really good if they go at it right. They take the right direction. They care about the source material. I don't know if Jason David Frank.
Disney source material though.
Hmm.
What source material?
I mean,
If they're throwing it all out the window.
if they change everything, like they're still going to try to adhere to the intellectual property, right? Monster of the week kind of thing.
Who knows?
Well, I guess
Maybe they're going to make it a 10 episode on HBO, like Game of Thrones type thing, like prestige television.
Maybe. I've got a friend who is very into Jason David Frank. And the last time I had talked to him, he had said that Jason David Frank still owned like controlling interest in Power Rangers.
I don't think he ever did. I could be wrong.
I have no idea.
Viewers, say in the comments if I'm wrong. But we've talked about that before, and I was not able to find anything. But I'm going to go out on a limb and say Jason David Frank has no stake in Power Rangers. Like, that property has bounced around from Saban to Disney to Saban to Hasbro. Like, it has bounced around. There's no way this guy has it. There'd be no reason that he would have it.
I mean, if you wanted to be involved in your passion project from when you were a teenager, what better way than to have?
I think he was like 35. Those teenagers were not teenagers, man.
Well, certainly not teenagers. I don't know if they were 35 though. That might be.
I was being hyperbolic there, but
can you imagine me being a Power Ranger now? Matt, come on.
Yeah.
We're gonna go down to the juice bar and then go fight Rita Repulsa. Just give me a minute. I gotta get out of this chair, and that's gonna take.
I could see you being a Bulk or Skull type who were in class with the Power Rangers.
I love it. Oh man! All right, let's.
I'm sure Ernie was younger than some of the actors that were playing students.
Oh man! All right, let's move forward. Next up, we're going to talk about this one, which you actually found and mentioned last week, and I had no clue what you were talking about. I now have some clue what you're talking about. But let's actually explain it for the audience and what's going on. Before we start this one, know that this is potentially going to be something that might happen in Magic's future. We heard about this. It might just be a rumor, and it might be bordering on spoiler territory. So if you don't want to know about this, I don't know, mute us until the next topic shows up on the screen. I don't know, but you've been warned. You want to give the background on this one?
There's not a lot to say. Some people posted some things on Reddit and whatnot where supposedly there is a survey that went out kind of asking, how would you feel about a planeswalker who is a cyberpunk ninja guy, or this one who's also a cyberpunk ninja guy, and they're in Kamigawa, and it's all cyberpunky and neon. And a company who has registered domains for Hasbro in the past, or for WotC in the past, did register several different Kamigawa-related domains.
Yeah.
So, like, Kamigawa, what's it?
Neon Dynasty.
NeonDynasty.com and .net, and there's a few others.
Yeah.
And I think it was the same time and the same company. They did Innistrad, I think. The same day they registered some domains, I think, for Innistrad.
Yeah.
So a lot of people think that it's real. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's all coincidence and fakery. But how would you feel if we saw a return to Kamigawa that was cyberpunk?
So I've been thinking about this a lot this week, because after we talked about it, because we talked about it off camera, because I thought he was joking on the last video, and then he told me, no, like, this is a thing that had cropped up. And like, I'm very much into Magic mostly to play, but I do like the stories and the lore and whatnot. And I was just like, how is this going to parse with the Kamigawa that existed? Because I tried to play during that Kamigawa block, but ultimately I got I got away from Magic during that time period. So I had no idea what Kamigawa was about, other than it had like Japanese influences.
Besides there were a handful of cards I got from random breaks when I first started playing tabletop.
Mm-hmm.
Besides that, which was original Zendikar, for anybody listening. Besides that, my entire exposure to Kamigawa, I think I have a couple of the paperbacks somewhere that I picked up at a thrift store, and somebody we went to college with said Kamigawa sucks.
Which, like, mechanically speaking, I don't think that that's necessarily wrong. I mean, I know a lot of people liked it, but honestly, like, it just, the mechanics didn't play nicely. So, yeah, so I went looking into this, and that's part of the reason why I could see them doing this, like, change to a futuristic world, right? Because since the mechanics didn't work that great, maybe changing things to this cyberpunk-esque thing will give them an excuse to make new mechanics that are better, you know? Because a lot of times when you revisit a plane, they're like, oh, well, we're revisiting the plane, we have to retouch on the things that made that plane great. But if nobody agrees that there was anything great on Kamigawa, maybe this is what they do, right? Also, apparently, lore-wise, part of the problem that was happening on Kamigawa was there were time rifts. That was, like, the major, like, plot point of what was going on there. It's like the spirits and the mortals were against each other in some kind of weird war thing, but that was because of time rifts opening up on the plane. So they have a lore reason to go to the future, which was...
It's not really the future, though. Because, like, internal time-wise, the Kamigawa block, when we played there, was about 1,000 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, compared to, you know, the cards that are coming out now. It was about 1,000 years prior.
Oh, I get what you're saying. Like, you're saying that the Kamigawa block, lore-wise, was 1,000 years back from where we are right now.
Not that it came out in the year 1020.
Yeah. Well, no, I knew that you didn't mean that, but, like... okay, well, like, I could see that being a thing, too. I actually didn't know that the timeline was that far apart from where we are now. It's hard to follow the Magic timeline, because there's a lot of stuff that happened, like, in, like, thousands of years ago.
Yeah.
And it influences things that are happening right now, and that's kind of weird to me. I think one of the biggest issues I have with Magic is its timeline because Nico Bolas confuses everything since he's been around since the beginning, you know. But either way, yeah. So like, there's plenty of reason for them to be able to do this futuristic set. There's room for it, and I saw the couple of pictures they had there. It was kind of cool. It looked kind of like Shadowrun. Like, I was like, that's kind of a neat situation. So I'm down. I'm 100% down because if we're gonna go back to Kamigawa, which arguably is one of those very it's a very volatile discussion when brought up. Like, some people really, really want to go back to Kamigawa, and a lot of people are like, I don't really care, or I don't want to, or the mechanics are bad, or whatever. And this gives them the ability to fix it, still do something cool, tie things in with the timeline that's going on right now. Like, why not? And we don't get to see Cyberpunk very often. I know a lot of people have problems with like Cyberpunk being in fantasy. I don't. I think if Jace were to show up on Kamigawa and meet these people who have like futuristic technologies and still practice magic and stuff, and it just blow his mind, I would love that. I think that would be great.
There's also no saying that it has to be one. I don't think there's any problem with having technology in a magical world.
Right.
But even if it, from just looking at it, from the outside looking in, it looks cyberpunky, that doesn't mean that it's cyberpunk like we think, like a Gibson book or something,
Sure, yeah.
Doesn't mean that they have the internet or VR or anything like that. Or if they do, maybe their VR is just like some weird scrying thing.
Yeah. And we talked a little bit about this when we first were discussing this, but like, in my opinion, like, the idea of the world stalling because magic exists doesn't make sense to me. Like, the magic to teleport in the Magic universe is not like a common thing. Like, not everybody can just go like, thwip, I'm here, right?
But how, like, just magic in general, how common is it?
From what I understand, a lot of people can use minor magic in the Magic universe.
Well, yeah, but lighting a cigarette,
No, not that minor. Like, I think that there's plenty of people who can use medium level, like, magics. Like, magic is not a it's not a special thing to have. Being a planeswalker is special, but it's not like planeswalkers are special amongst an already special group of people. It's more that magic's sort of the norm, and they're special casters, So, I think that in a world where you don't get to teleport around everywhere, though, eventually the car would be invented, or something similar to it. Some kind of transportation means that are faster than a horse and a cart,
Yeah, it may not be that they're burning, dead dinosaurs like we do.
Right.
The combustion might happen magically.
Right.
If all you can do is make a little fireball, you're not going to wipe out a town with it, but you might be able to cruise, 30 miles an hour down the highway.
Right.
What have you.
And you think about, like, in the original stories and, like, the Power Stones, like, those are essentially arcane batteries. Like, they had downsides, like regular batteries do, but they were essentially arcane batteries. And I could.
Where's Chandra from?
Chandra's from Kaladesh.
Kaladesh, if I'm remembering correctly, wasn't big on magic because they used ether for everything.
Yeah, so they used Aether, which it's kind of like the stuff that makes mana. But yeah, essentially they turned Aether into a fuel source on
Yeah.
Kaladesh. Yeah.
But it like people weren't doing a lot of magic. In fact, fire magic was illegal.
Yeah.
Um,
Destructive magics in general were illegal. And they had like a consulate that limited the way that people used magics. But you could invent whatever you wanted and fuel it off of Aether like it was no big deal.
yeah.
So, exactly. Like, eventually you will see that. And, like, on Kaladesh, you know, they have the Gear Hulks, which are, like, Titan-esque, like, essentially Jaegers, right? That are these huge, gigantic fighting machines, you know, that are embodied by the different colors of mana, right? Because they're fueled on different forms of Aether or whatever. And if we can build giant mechs, we can have cars. Like it can happen. Like, so I'd love to see that kind of thing. Maybe they'll bring vehicle mechanics back for Kamigawa.
I'm going to take it back further. If you can build Karn,
Yes. If
Like-
Karn can exist and be fueled, although Karn is a weird special case because like he still exists because he's like just like Urza's leftover energy. But he's-
originally he was just a golem.
yeah.
Like golems were just a thing.
Yeah.
So if you can go, I'm going to make a person, whether or not they have a soul and they can think and things like that, doesn't matter. You can go, okay, I'm going to make a person, but it's going to have wheels.
Wheels, yeah.
I can sit in it.
Yeah.
You
know. 100%. This is how
Yeah.
we get Knight Rider. Secret Lair Knight Rider. You in?
Yeah. A stonework puma with wheels.
Yeah.
Stonework puma is actually made out of stone, right? Like,
Yeah.
is it made? I have no idea what the lore
I
is
think
behind
so. I think
the
so.
stonework.
I think it's
Okay.
an artifact, yeah. It's a rock, yeah.
Yeah, somebody made it.
Yeah. So I'm in. I don't know if anyone else is in, but I'm in.
Yeah, and my exposure to the magic world is very small. But if everybody hates Kamigawa, it was 1,000 years ago.
Mhm.
What
It's
is like our current world versus 1,000 years ago?
Right.
Yeah.
And
It's like,
yeah.
Oh, Bushido. No, Bushido left like 800 years ago, man.
Yeah.
He got rid of that mechanic.
No.
We're now about, neuromancy and stuff.
Yeah. Someone invented the mana rifle, and that was the fall of Bushido. Yeah. But no, I think it'll be cool. I think it's something that we should look forward to seeing whether or not it's true. I'll actually be a little bummed if that's not the way that Kamigawa comes back. Because
I mean, we've got a while. Like, I think all of 21's already known.
yeah, 21 is pretty much all the way known. So earliest we could see this is 22, but I'll be keeping my eye on it. I'm excited for it. All right.
Speaking of 21 and probably 22, I don't know if you made a thing for this.
I didn't, but we should talk about it.
Yeah. No in-store gaming, basically, until at least January of 2021.
Right.
Originally, it was, I think, November 11th of this year, so just a couple of weeks from now. They decided to push it out until at least after the pre-release. November 11th, they're going to be doing an announcement, kind of assessing the state, and they're going to do that moving forward. Be second Wednesday of every month.
Yeah.
I think January, we're not going to be back in shops.
Yeah. I actually went to my local shop earlier last week. I wanted to pick up the Zendikar Commander decks. And I was really glad to hear that, like, apparently, as far as sales go, they haven't really suffered that badly. Most people are still buying their paper cards there, even though they can't play there yet. They were in the process of moving into a new location when all this went down, so they're now in the new location. And the new location has a ton of play space, and they're like, when we can reopen safely, we will. And
How does it look?
it looks really good. It's pretty sweet. They've set it up so that they used to have online orders and regular orders happening in the same space, so there was a lot of kind of loose product in boxes getting ready to be shipped, and they split it into two locations and then just filled one of them completely with tables and the storefront, and the other one is entirely the background stuff. So it's like
Do they have the? Did they put in a streaming room?
I didn't see it. I don't know if they set that up yet, but once they are safely doing stuff again, maybe they will set that up, because it was something fun that was going on at the time. But I just knew that, like, it was good to see that the store was doing well, but it meant that stores can do well without having tournaments, as long as you support your LGSs. So if you are into paper and you want paper to be around when you come back from this stuff going on, support your LGSs, even if you're just buying stuff to that right now you're just looking at, right? Keep your LGSs alive, because eventually we will be to the point where we can go back, and we want them to be there when we get there.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm going to hijack your train of thought.
Sure.
So, little behind the curtain action here. When you asked, "Hey, are you up for doing a Shadowland tonight?" I had no idea what was going on in the world. Like, this week, I've not paid any attention to anything kind of magic and pop culture-y. So I went to Reddit and got sucked into a Reddit thread. I don't recommend that anybody who's watching stay away from Reddit. And if you go there, don't read the comments.
Oh boy! Please don't.
Real quick, I'd like to take a few minutes, if that's all right with you, and talk about the MSRP going away, which happened quite a while ago, but people are still complaining about it a lot.
Yeah, go for it.
So, the last time Wizards increased the price of a booster was, what, 2000? How long were they $4?
I mean,
20.
It's been a long time.
6.
Yeah, something like that. Like
I feel like they were the same price when I started playing.
It's got to be about like 15 years, yeah.
And everybody expects to be paying that still. I have no real idea what WotC does behind the scenes with their distributors, and what the distributors are doing to the local comic shops, local card shops, local gaming shops. But I don't think the MSRP going away is any one party trying to screw you, the player, over.
Right.
It allows card shops to price what they think things should be priced, which they were kind of already doing anyway. I mean, a booster box may retail for $100 or $120, but I can guarantee you could find shops where they would charge a lot less than that.
Yeah, or even more, you know.
Yeah, depending on the set, nobody may be charging that little.
Right. I have a good story about this, actually, because when I was playing card games half a decade ago, maybe even longer than that, there were a bunch of card games out that I was into that were all based on anime properties. And when I was playing Inuyasha, when Inuyasha first came out, the first set sold out everywhere. They were doing half boxes that were only like 12, 14 packs or something like that. for half of the price. So people go and pay, $50 ish and get a box of Inuyasha. It sold out so fast that there was one store in St. Louis that still had boxes, and that's because they were charging $80 a box to get rid of it, and they were still selling it. They just weren't selling it fast enough to get it completely off the shelves. And so we went into that store because we wanted some stuff, and when he told us the price, I was like, "You're joking, right?" He's like, "No, this is how supply and demand works. We are the only ones left in St. Louis with supply. If you want it, you'll pay for it." And of course, we left because we didn't have $80 to spend on a half box. But that product did sell. He eventually did manage to get rid of all of his first set product before the emergency reprint came in for the second grouping of product. So
if the Jumpstart boosters, or is that what they were called?
Yeah.
If the Jumpstart boosters were going for $10 a piece, one, the way I understand it is you grab two of them, you shuffle, you play, right?
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, $20 doesn't sound that outrageous to me. You definitely couldn't just grab 4 or 5 draft boosters, shuffle them, and play a game.
Mm-hmm.
If they're charging that, they're probably taking their distribution price, tacking 20 to 30% on top of it, and then rounding to a number.
Mm-hmm.
Or they're saying, this is how much people will pay.
Mm-hmm.
Hasbro and WotC, they're a business. They got to make money.
Yeah. And I don't know how much taking MSRP has affected what Hasbro and WotC charge the distributor, but that's the way these things work, is that there's a certain amount that the distributor pays WotC to get the product, and a certain amount that the stores pay the distributor to get the product from them.
And then a certain amount that you pay the store to get the product from them.
Right. So this exchanges hands at least 3 times, sometimes more, depending on whether it's like distributor to distributor sales, et cetera, et cetera. So in order for everyone to make money at their point, releasing the MSRP could seem like a really good idea, because maybe Hasbro didn't change how much they're charging the distributors at all, but it gave the distributors a chance to make a little more money off of things that they thought would be more popular, and it gave the stores a chance to recoup some costs that maybe they don't normally get to do. And so, like, I understand people's ideas of, like, wanting there to be transparency in the situation. But if we're going to see transparency, what we should see is WotC saying, we sell to distributors for X amount per pack. And then that's as far as they can provide transparency, right? But they're not forcing stores to say, hey, I know this is $100, but I'm going to charge you $120 because of XYZ. They're just saying, we don't know what it's priced at. It's priced at $120, and letting... Which
is the way it works in almost everything.
Exactly.
Like, there used to be a grocery store back in my hometown where it would actually say, like, what they paid, and then a markup on there. That is the only time I can think of, and I have no idea if they just made up those numbers and lied to their customers. That is the only time I can think of ever a store or somebody saying, yeah, I paid $70 for this, so I'm charging $85 for it.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I get marked a lot as being a shill for the retailer, but I used to do retail. And I remember when I was doing card sales, I would be like, I paid this for it. If I don't at least make this, I'm not feeding my family. Like, so if you want this from me, you'll buy it from me at this. Or, I guess get it somewhere else, Like,
I think that there is some truth to the idea that Hasbro realized if they changed the price from $4 to $5 a pack, or, I mean, now we'd be up to like $5.50, $6 a pack with inflation, that everybody would yell at Hasbro.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, Hasbro's trying to rob us,
Right.
changing prices for the first time in 15 years.
Yeah. And that's another thing that is interesting about that, right? Because no one can say Magic is a game built for children, right? You're not supposed to be 8 years old and be picking up Magic. Like the product itself, Todd.
I'll have you know, I lost a lot of drafts and sealed events to a kid who I think was 8.
That kid was good, but his dad was playing as well. But the notion of it stands, right? This is not a product for like little kids with some pocket money, right? This is a luxury item that is built for teenagers and adults and people with jobs to filter money into, And so the notion that it has stayed roughly the same price for the last 20 years is insane. Like nothing does that.
People over at Wizards are getting paid more money than they were 15 years ago.
Yeah.
At least I hope they are.
Oh, yeah, for sure. In the last 20 years, gas has, tripled in price, at least?
No.
Yeah, 20 years from here, 2000?
Gas in... When would that have been? 2002? When was I born?
When I first started driving, gas was like 89 cents a gallon. That was in like 2002.
I don't think that's true. Maybe it was. Maybe you're 50. When I started driving, when I was 16 years old, gas was about $1.50. Because it took $30 to fill the tank of my Jeep.
Okay.
And my Jeep only lived for about a year and a half before it died. Yeah. So it was about $1.50 then. It got up to like $4 or over $4, and now it's back down. I saw gas was like $1.78. So I mean, gas has come down to about what it was 20 years ago. But nothing else.
A box of cereal, the price has gone up, a couple bucks a box over the course of the last, 20 years.
Everything's gone up. Yeah. And we've had 2 recessions. Yeah. So, I mean, that's stalled some stuff.
Yeah. And that's the thing, right? It's like the fact that we don't see, like, it doesn't scale all the time. Like, they keep a pretty steady price on this stuff all throughout. And then suddenly they'll jump it because they're like, we need to make enough money to keep the lights on, like.
Yeah, and the options are you raise the price or you decrease the product.
Right.
How would people like it if they were like, yeah, it's going to remain $4 a pack, but we're only doing 12 card packs now or 11 card packs now. Right. No one would take that.
Let me tell you, the set boosters, right? It's like panic in the streets because you can't draft them because they don't have 15 cards. It's crazy. It's actually not too far off from I did it. There we go. From our final topic, which we should get into because this one might actually take us a little bit, hopefully not. But so Extra Life and Secret Lairs. So if you're thinking I'm talking about Secret Lair or Walking Dead, I'm not. We're done with that. We finished. That has come and gone. Those people who bought it have bought it, and there are newer, more pressing Secret Lairs.
Are already looking online to see what they can get the
Right.
the,
Or
the human and everything for.
right, crudely drawing Rick onto a piece of paper and shoving him in front of a basic forest. But we have a new secret lair, and this new secret lair this week is going to be benefiting the charity Extra Life. Extra Life is a children's charity. I'm not 100% certain what they do. I believe it has something to do with games, though, and or hospitals, something important involving children. I'm sorry, I'm not.
One of those important topics,
Games,
like dolls, games,
medical
their
schools.
life.
Yeah,
like,
something
Yeah.
like that. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, the only children I know are the ones that sit across from me at the table when I'm playing Magic.
And they're beating you.
Yes, a thorough whipping. But anyway, so it is a really good cause, though, and
It's a legit charity. It's not.
it's not something. It's not some side BS. It's a legit charity, and the product is going to be 5 cards.
I think
5.
it's-
Let me pull it up because I have it off to the side over here somewhere. Maybe I had it. It's gone now. Oh well.
Well, you talk. I'll pull it up.
Okay. So it's a few cards. It's Teferi's Protection, Collected Company, Consecrated Sphinx, and Amulet of Vigor. And so it's 4 cards. It's going to be.
Well, you already had it. I was looking it up.
Well, we remembered it. That's the way things work.
Oh.
And it's going to retail at $60. So for the week that it's open, $60, you get 1 copy of each of these cards with foil, new art, and the art is based off of children. So Collected Company is a Johnny training and playing with some Leonin cubs.
Is Johnny? Okay, he's a Leonin. Like,
Yes.
aren't they supposed to be lions?
Yes.
Why does a Johnny have tiger stripes on his face?
I'm going to do a whole video series on this, but essentially Leonin's going to Leonin. Like, all Leonins kind of have weird mixes of different cat things. They're just cats.
There's weird stuff going on with my my camera, man.
Oh dear sweet lord, he's gone gamma, folks. This is the time period where this is the time period where you got to worry about
It's just-
the over radiation, the Hulk situation going on. That barely helped. Oh, there you go.
That helped a little bit.
There we go. Okay, so but all of these cards are good cards. They're all cards that are used in older formats and Commander. Like, they're good, high price cards. The total worth of the box is like $90 at least if you were to buy these cards individually, non-foil.
Yeah, the Fury's Protection alone is like 35.
35 non-foil, right? And so there's all this value. It's $60, and $30 of those dollars are going to the Extra Life Foundation. So half of the proceeds going to the thing. Now, there's a bunch of different questions about this, and different sources have been saying different things. A lot of people think, well, this is WotC using this to get a tax write-off on their charitable donation. Now, one source I found said that the way that they are giving the donation means they won't be able to use it as a tax write-off. And the other ones that I saw said that they could. So I don't have an answer for you as far as whether or not they can use it as a tax write-off. One source that I saw said that the main reason why they're doing it this way is because Hasbro's goal of doubling their revenue by charging double for this situation, they can increase the revenue, even though it's not increasing the profits, which is a lower level of things, so that they can keep their timeline on track without actually making any extra money, you know?
Are you, if you're watching this video, there's a good chance you know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
So you're talking about Rudy's video, right?
I am talking about Alpha Invest. If you watch Alpha Investments video, he talks a little bit about that, and it's just he's just speculating about the ideas behind why they've double charged for it rather than.
I didn't take that, and I might have missed something in the video.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a double charging thing. It's them saying this is for charity and trying to use that to get people to buy these cards.
I mean, more or less, but that's the thing, right? Like a regular secret lair tends to cost between $30 and $40. This one costs $60, but half of it's going to charity. Huh?
What was Walking Dead?
40, I think.
I thought it was 50. There were 5 cards.
Maybe it was 50.
I think it was 50.
But like we've seen we've seen them all over the place in price. So 60 is not an unexpected number to have to pay on a secret lair. And the fact that 30 of it is going to charity is a huge thing because this thing's going to sell hard because of the extreme amount of value in this, which means Extra Life is going to make a lot of money that will allow them to do a lot of good things.
And it'll sell hard because even if you weren't going to pick those up, you might because it's going to a charity.
Exactly, right. Yeah. If Magic just said we were making 5 or 4 superpowered cards going into a secret lair and it's $60 and none of it was going to charity, you might go, okay, I've had enough of Magic like squeezing dimes out of me or whatever. But maybe charity will push you into doing it. I've seen a lot of people say, oh, well, I'm going to donate $60 to Extra Life and proxy these cards. Good. If that's what you and your group can do and that's what you want to do and you're actually going to do it, cool. I'm very skeptical that the number of people that I saw say that are actually going to donate anything to Extra Life, although they will probably proxy those cards.
I'd say it's roughly the amount of people that say, yes, I shopped at this business whose politics I disagree with, but I'm going to donate the same amount of money as I spent on this to a charity that supports this thing that I care about, that this business has said that they hate.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Yeah, no one... Some people are doing that. If you are good on...
Some people do it, and for those of you who do that, right, and for those of you who do that, you're amazing. Good on you. You know, way to go. Spend less money on the frivolous stuff for yourself and doing something good for other people is great. It's a good thing to do, and it's amazing when people do that. But that's not what people usually do. People usually want to get something for their money, and right now is a great time for them to get good value off of money that they were going to spend on cards anyway, and half of that money is going to go to a great cause that over the last few years has shown that there's no, like, it's not one of those charities that later you hear about them embezzling like $7 million, right? It's like a real legit charity that only wants to help kids, you know? So this is like a win all around, and people are upset about it. And I kind of understand why, because WotC could have charged $30 for it and given all the proceeds to Extra Life. Or they could have charged us $40 and given $30 to Extra Life. They could have. Yeah.
Yes, they could have.
Yeah.
I don't think they would lose money.
No, I don't think it would be a loss to them at all. But I don't see any problem with them trying to make their piece while simultaneously helping out a charity in a way that many, many organizations wouldn't. Like,
let's play a quick hypothetical here.
Sure.
If WotC said, hey, we've got a new secret lair. This was not an Extra Life thing. We're going to include these 4 cards, one of which alone is going for $35. The others all solid, I don't know, $10, $20 cards.
Yeah.
I didn't price the other cards.
Just about 15, yeah.
$30. Do you not think everybody would scream and complain about that?
They'd find a way. Like,
well, now my Commander 2017 Teferi, whatchamacallit, isn't going to go for $35 anymore because there's another copy of it in the world.
Sure. Sure, people will find ways to complain about anything, but the idea that so much complaining can be happening so quickly on something that's such a win. If you want to play Teferi's Protection, this is the way to get it. You know what I mean? And like me personally, I'm not going to pick these up because I don't like foils. I've never liked foils, even back when they didn't curl like Pringles. I don't like foils now that they do. But if you want to play a legal version of Teferi's Protection in something, here's your chance. You can also get Collected Company, which is a great card, and Consecrated Sphinx, which is a great card. Like,
and Amulet of Vigor, which is a card.
It's a good card. It's a good card in formats I don't play. You don't see Amulet of Vigor in Commander, so I'm not really like on board. But it's good. It's a good card. From what I understand, there's a modern deck named after it. Like, it's not a joke. So, like, this is a worthwhile set. If you want it, buy it. If you don't want it, don't buy it. But the idea that you could be doing anything to hurt WotC by not buying it is not true. And honestly, the best thing you could do if you wanted this is to pick it up and get $30 to a charity that could want it. Because if you want these 4 cards, you'd be paying $90 to some rando who has the cards. Might as well be paying $60, giving 30 of it to the people who make the game you love, and 30 of it to an amazing charity that deserves it.
What about the playmats?
Yes, there's going to be playmats. I believe it's $21 from Ultra Pro, and $16 of it is going to charity.
$21.99.
So $22 with 16 of it going to charity, which is awesome. If you like the arts on them, we're going to be talking about art here in a second. But I think the arts look good if you like those playmats. I'm not a big fan of Extra Life's logo, but it is on the mats, so if you want to show, hey, I picked up the thing to support Extra Life, it's on the playmat, so people will know. That's a good thing too. And then WotC's doing a big stream next week that's going to be benefiting Extra Life as well. They're going to be taking donations. Going to be doing sort of a raffle thing. There's a lot of cool stuff going on with that.
Uncut sheets on eBay.
Yeah, uncut sheets are being auctioned on eBay, and the proceeds in that are going to Extra Life as well. One of the things is like the mystery booster special cards, the drawn over cards from the mystery booster. A full uncut sheet of that's going to be on.
And with the auction, at least 100% of profits and fees. So they're going to make their money back.
Yeah.
But profits and fees are all going to Extra Life.
Right. So after sending out the thing to you, everything else is going back to Extra Life. I think this is going to be great for Extra Life. I think it's going to be good for WotC. I think it's good for the players. Like, I have no qualms with this. Anything you want to say about this before I move on to the other part of this?
No, I don't know what the other part of this is.
Okay, so we talked about art here, and I'm just gonna quickly mention this. I don't think that there will be much to talk about here, but it's something that needs to be mentioned. So, one of the cards being shown in this set is Teferi's Protection, And Teferi's Protection has a picture of him with his daughter Niambi on it when she's like a toddler. Reddit got a hold of this, as well as other internet sources. Got a hold of this picture of this little girl, and just put her on cards that is absolutely ridiculous. So, like, the one that people talk about a lot is the fling one. So they have it shown like Niamba's being flung from the catapult. But there's ones that like people put her up on a card. It's called something Tabernacle, but it basically looks like she's up on a cross, on a crucifix. There are ones where she's being thrown into an oven. You know, just gross, bad things. Even if the tenor of what was going on in the country right now isn't what it is, it's still not cool. And I don't know who I'm telling this to, but don't do this. Like, it's just not right. And I don't know. I don't know what I have to say past that. Like, it feels like this is something that people should know, that this is not something that I should have to explain to someone. But if you are the kind of person who made these things going, oh yeah, it's just a little off-color humor, it's not that big a deal, right now especially, it's a big, big deal. And it's a big deal regardless, but right now it could not be a less big deal. Like, it's so huge. Don't do this, and don't propagate it, and don't try to explain it off as whatever you think it might be, because it's just bad. It looks bad on you. It looks bad on everyone. Show some respect for people. If you have no respect for anyone else at all, respect the artists who put their heart and soul into making what was a heartwarming picture, and don't ruin it. Like, just don't. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
You're asking me.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know who I'm asking. I have I explained what I was talking about well enough?
In the future, does that make sense?
Put it in the comments below. Does it make sense? Am I making sense? No, I know that you didn't have any chance to prep for this one, so I'm sorry if I've blindsided you with this one, Adam. But like, I saw this and I'm just like, what? Why are you doing this? And I just felt like something had to be said.
Nope. Anything else you want to talk about?
I don't think so. Unfortunately, I don't have anything lighter to end on. Oh, we can real quick just mention we had this week a player left the Pro League because Eric Froelich left the Pro League because his wife got a job at WotC as a community manager, and you cannot play in the Pro League if you have immediate family who work for WotC. So he left the league so that his wife could take on a new job as community manager. I think that's really cool. I think that was very nice of him. Burcevic ended up on the Pro League in his place. Burcevic is a great player as well, so that'll be good to see inside of things. I will miss Froelich as a player, but I'm sure that it's not the last we'll see of him, and if his wife ever leaves WotC employment, he might come back into pro play at that point. But
he also said that he would be interested in commentating.
Yeah, which would be an amazing thing. Yeah.
And he said that at this time, there were no plans that he was going to be working for Wizards. But basically, it sounded like he was open to it.
Yeah, which
it doesn't sound like any animosity or anything.
Mm-hmm.
That it was.
And I think having, like, a lot of people think part of the reason cards have been pushed recently is because there are pro players on the on like R&D and things like that, but I think having pro players in testing is a great way to make sure that cards don't come out broken, because pro players don't like that. They want to be able to have answers to whatever the biggest deck is. So that might be a place that they might have. I hope they find room for him if they decide they want to go that route. And we wish him the best of luck. We think it's great. And I think that's all we've got for this week. Anything else you want to add to the end of this?
Nope, not really. Be safe, wear a mask.
Yep. Be safe, wear a mask. Also, guys, just have a good time out there. Be safe, and we will catch you next time on all of this news that is Magic and not Magic. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll see you later.